Hello all, I am Sandy Petersen, and this is my good friend, Kenilworth Begg, and we have known each other for many years.
We have.
I guess about 17 years or more, and Ken Begg is the source of many of my current opinions about films and filmmaking because he has a massive encyclopedic knowledge of filmmakers that I lack. Now, I have managed to find a few small corners of filmdom which he does not know so much about, like Italian horror, and so I have tricked him into thinking I know a lot about films by playing up these areas that he has a weakness in. But he was having big conversations today about actors that I've literally never seen in a film, Anthony Newley and Jim Wynorski and our directors, and I don't know anything about these guys, but it's interesting to hear them. So we're going to interview Ken. He is the proprietor and mastermind behind Jabootu.net and the former Jabootu.com, which I wish were more oriented towards film reviews now instead of being his daily blog. But hey, it's his site, right? And I will say that Jabootu, in case you don't know, is the demon of terrible media, film and TV specifically. And I like him so much that he is in Planet Apocalypse. The dog doesn't like him either. As a repulsive demon that everyone hates. And there he is, Jabootu. And Jabootu is in a movie that you can see, which is where he's not called Jabootu in the movie, but it's him. And that movie is
Magnificent Obsession.
So if you want to see a terrible movie that's not horror or comedy, but is a drama, that is a good choice.
It is.
For a terrible drama. And it's so bad that as you watch it, you'll be offended if you have any kind of ethics or philosophy. So, Ken, here's your first question.
All right.
You have watched many bad movies. You've also watched many good movies.
I have.
Why should I watch a bad movie? My wife asks this all the time.
Well, as you explicated a couple weeks ago in your underwater Nazi movie, my site always operated under what I call the bell curve idea of cinema, which, of course, you can apply a bell curve to anything. But that the interesting movies are the movies at this end of the bell curve and this end of the bell curve. So that if you really want to know about cinema, you watch the really good stuff and the really bad stuff, and that they inform each other. Like, if you just watch Casablanca and you just watch really great movies, you appreciate that they have good acting and good directing, but you appreciate it more when you see somebody who doesn't have any of those things. It brings home that it's not automatic that if you spend a certain amount of money, you're going to automatically have a good script and you're automatically going to have good direction and automatically have good acting. Also, bad movies are fun. Not all of them. There are boring bad movies, and those obviously are kind of a slog to sit through. Those we watch more to endure them and to prove that you're an Iron Man of bad movies.
This is not my goal with bad movies. I'm very much on the entertainment side.
Yes. Well, we get together and we do fest twice a year where we watch 8 bad movies in a row. And maybe one of them will be kind of boring, and that's more to torture our friends, because that's always entertaining, is to make your friends watch something really horrible and then just delight in how unhappy they are. But you don't want to do that 8 times.
No, my son Lincoln, who was behind the camera, I made him watch the movie Nightmare City, and he was mad at me. And then I got it for Christmas, and then he got mad at me again. So that was pretty great. He now, of course, is a huge fan of Nightmare City because everything about it is perfectly bad. It's the worst. But you will always have the scene with the guy that turns around slowly in the room.
Yeah. And
then reveals his card face that the guys in the movie would have been able to see.
Yes.
So
he reveals to the camera.
Yes, reveals to the camera, not to the guys. So so one of the things about bad movies is that they are generally really great to watch with the crowd because everyone can jeer at them and make comments. Whereas I can happily watch a good movie all by myself. I'm okay just being the only guy in the room with Casablanca. But if I'm watching Ghost House, I don't want to be alone.
Yes.
I want other people there to point out the flaws.
That is correct. There is a movie, in fact, that I had never seen. It was one of the bad movies that a lot of other people that had bad movie websites. I'm so old, I had a bad movie website, not a YouTube channel. And everybody was writing about this movie called The Apple. And it finally came out on DVD after years of me reading about it. And I really didn't enjoy it. I really thought it was a slog. And then ironically, about 6 months later, maybe because it just came out on DVD, it was shown at a big event that they do in Illinois every year called B-Fest, where they show 24 hours of B movies in a row. And The Apple was one of the movies, and I was really unhappy because I didn't like it the first time, and I had just seen it, and I was like, ugh. And it turned out the experience of watching it with 300 people who hated it was a completely different experience than sitting in my living room by myself watching it. So I think, when I started my website, which again was a very long time ago.
Jabootu needs a congregation to fully feast, I guess.
That is correct. When I started my website like years and years ago, back in the old days when there weren't even necessarily dedicated URLs, this shows how old I am in terms of the internet. People would ask me like, well, why would you watch a bad movie? And then Mystery Science Theater started.
Well, I think MST3K and Riff Tracks are really ways of getting artificial friends to watch bad movies with. You have got people who will comment on it. I don't really watch those particular channels because usually when I watch bad movies is with a bunch of guys, right. And so I don't need Riff Tracks to make their jokes when I have you to make jokes.
And I think Red Letter Media.
Red Letter Media to an extent does the same thing.
Yeah.
They don't show the whole movie. They just
right. But it's easier to communicate to people what we're doing because now there's like a TV show or a YouTube channel that does kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very fun to do it. We're also, our crowd tends to be a little older. So we delight in seeing like old TV actors.
We meet with our peers. Yes, we watched a movie on Saturday which starred Adam West, the first Batman from the 60s, and we were digging on it because it had Adam West. And of course, Adam West got razzed pretty hard in our comments.
He's not very good.
But he was not very good in that movie.
Yes.
Maybe Adam West is good in something. But it doesn't matter. We're just seeing him. Or for example, I got all excited because we had Nehemiah Persoff in a film. And if you don't know who Nehemiah Persoff is, then you are fortunate because you can look him up. And he's actually a genuinely good actor who is alive at the age of 102. So you better watch his stuff while he's still around. Though I suppose you can still watch it after he dies. But even so. Anyway, so these are our reasons for watching bad movies. Remember to watch them with friends if you can, because it's a great idea for a party. Get the chips out. And the other thing about bad movies is when people are talking over the movie, you don't really care because the movie sucks. So it's not like you're going to miss a plot line you care about.
Right.
So that's a kind of useful thing to if someone's talking over a good movie, like The Shrine or The Shining or something, then you're like, oh no, you missed this awesome important thing. But if you're talking over Winter Beast, no one cares.
Yeah.
Because there's literally nothing you had to see.
There were at least 3 movies in this last fest that was a couple days ago, including the Adam West movie, where I just gave up on trying to follow the film because it was so silly. And I'm pretty pedantic when I'm watching a movie. I want to really pay attention and know what's going on. But there was something about the Adam West movie involved like communists trying to steal a statue
from the mob. And the mob is 4 guys, by the way.
The mob is 4 guys, and then the plan was that they were going to use the statue to take over the mafia somehow,
or Tibet was something. Tibet was somehow involved,
and it really did. That's not why you were watching.
And then there was the movie Buddha's Hand, which appeared to be a whole bunch of martial arts trailers edited together.
Yes, we thought
we never once figured out the plot.
We thought it would be a wacky martial arts movie.
It was that,
but it was more like a 12-hour martial arts miniseries
cut down to like an hour and a half,
to 90 minutes. So it was like a 90-minute trailer for a 12-hour. Martial arts movie. Like even we got exhausted. We have a pretty high tolerance. Like the reason we got excited when we saw the trailer is it looked crazy. We're like, this looks
But then it was solid crazy all the who, and really crazy. You do need a breather, it turns out. Yeah, so that was kind of sad to learn.
Yeah, a scene now and then where people just sat down at a tea house would have been much appreciated.
But then there was Winter Beast, which almost all of it was the breather between the good stuff. So you're sitting around with these guys talking in this diner with this one same bottle of milk that left out for days, apparently.
Yeah.
The one thing that saved it was the mayor, because he chewed the scenery so much that he was a delight.
Yeah, everybody else was like sub-community theater level acting, and it was quite a chore. There were monsters.
The monsters were cool, but there was like 30 seconds of monsters probably in the whole film.
Yeah, the monsters would show up for 10 seconds and then go away for 15 minutes, and it was pretty brutal.
So Ken, how did you start being interested in films and how they're made, and what made you into a movie critic?
First of all, and again, I apologize for being a nerd. Of course, we're very pedantic and we have to pick apart everything that's said. I don't like to think of myself as a movie critic. I think that.
How about a movie cricket?
Well, I think when you call yourself a movie critic, you're like
pretentious.
You're asserting that you have authority, like that you know more than other people.
I should care what you think.
Yeah,
I do care what you think. So you are.
But I feel it's more like a conversation, and that both people have a legitimate viewpoint about a given movie or whatever. If film critics, there are actual like good film critics. Like sometimes Roger Ebert was a really good film critic. Sometimes
he was a really good film critic. Yeah. He was not a good game critic.
No, he was not. I remember his...
Well, like, for example, I know for a fact that Zombies the Beginning is a great bad movie.
It is not.
And you're simply wrong in this case, so it's not a conversation.
No, but you're incorrect. That's a horrible bad movie. Because
it has a dwarf zombie with an eyeball on top of his head.
All right. Yes. I will enlarge... seed you Italian zombie movies, which is a subgenre I'm not particularly interested in. Even though you have delighted me with some Bruno Mattei movies. Bruno Mattei is the man who made the movie he speaks of. That is not one of them. Like that's what is it? Island of the Living Dead? Is that
was the first one? Yeah, Zombies the Beginning, which sounds like
Zombies
a sequel, is not a sequel. So it's or is a sequel. It sounds like it's a prequel, but anyway,
sort of a shot on video kind of.
I think you just don't like shot on video stuff.
I think that's true. There was a period in the early 2000s, I guess, where people like Ted V. Mickles were coming back and shooting direct on video.
They were doing it because they were impoverished, right?
Yes. They were Ted V. Mickles is a guy who made movies in the 60s and 70s, made some really bad movies. And he made one called like Astro Zombies with John Carradine.
Which is really, really bad.
Which is really bad, but it's at least intermittently really entertainingly bad. But then in the 2000s, there was a vogue for people like that to do sequels to their movies on video. And they were basically home movies. And
Zombies the Beginning is not a home movie though. He has production stuff. They have a submarine.
I'm not going to die on the hill. Like I don't know how much of my life I want to spend trying to defend the fact I don't like Zombies.
I'm just saying it's not bad for that specific reason you gave.
All right.
There are many reasons it is bad. Like the dwarf zombie with an eyeball on its head, which I'm saying is a great thing, is also an incredibly stupid thing.
Well, we're both admitting it's bad. You just find it much more entertainingly bad than I do.
I'll buy that.
I'll stick with Cruel Jaws. Bruno Mattei also made a Jaws.
He made an entire movie about a killer shark in which he filmed 0 scenes with a killer shark. That's the master that was Bruno Mattei.
All the shark scenes are stolen from other like shark movies. There's even a brief glimpse of footage from Jaws.
Which you'd think everyone that saw Cruel Jaws would have seen Jaws, but whatever.
You have to have a lot of nerve to steal from like.
Well, in his movie The Tomb, he steals a scene from Army of Darkness, which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
Oh, I'm also going to point out one more pedantic thing, because if I can't be pedantic, I wouldn't be a nerd.
Yes.
Which is that, in my opinion, the most terrifying Japanese thing ever filmed was on video, because it was Ju-on, the TV show. Scarier than any Japanese movie I've seen.
I don't think the format of video is my problem.
Well, I don't think you've seen it, so...
Yeah, I think it's just people who make sort of home movie.
Yeah, that could be. Well, the thing is, it's really cheaply filmed, and it's almost... But it's so well... I don't know. I can't explain it. Anyway...
I mean, and not to get too...
And it got made in the movie, so it's hard to find now, because usually when you look for Ju-on or The Grudge, you just get the movie, and it's not... It's okay. Right. It's pretty scary, but the TV show, wow. Anyway, we are going to ask you now to explicate something else, and it is...